What's up, everybody? It's Big Eyes, Big Lips here. We're gonna be doing some editing. So, I wanted to talk about the video game music video, but the actual file is missing a lot of the assets. I have this problem where I'm like, hey, whoo, baby, maybe I should save. Maybe I should save those files into a good location. So they're all on my computer. Just I clean up my stuff after a video when I should really put all of the video actually take notes. Number one, when you're making a video, create a new folder on wherever you have your video files and save everything to that folder. Probably gonna save you time. If you like to organize your pictures and music and videos in different locations, then you can throw those in other areas. Like for me, for example, I have all of my music in my music folder, and no matter what, every video, that's where all the music goes and is saved to, period. Videos, they're all in their own area as well. Pictures are usually the thing I have a problem looking for, and then it gets into the effects, and it'll save you time and a lot of stress when you do editing tutorials to show your videos and then it don't have half of the contents within your Premiere project, but that's okay. My main thing from this video, this was the first video with the new branding, right? So I'm like, okay, time to set yourself on a pedestal, king, because you gotta let the people know this is what your look is gonna be. This is who you are. Some people said I sounded depressed in the video, but I'm like, you know, I play up my voice and like my presentation on videos much more because in actuality, if I was more myself, like I don't project. This is how I talk when I don't project, and it's usually like this. I'm usually very like soft spoken. Should I do this for the whole video? It makes it harder to hear what I'm saying, isn't it? And I mean, I liked it. It wasn't as funny as some of the other videos. I had to find a balance, but it's a topic I cared about immensely and I wanted to present it, take the time to make it in that way. Going into how I wanted to present it, I also want to create assets that were completely my own that could be reused from video to video. I have this problem where I feel like every video has to be new and exciting and I have to completely start it from scratch, or at least I used to. But why in God's name would I do that to myself? I don't know. The fact of the matter is, and it's not to come down on viewers, I am not an attentive viewer either. They don't really notice a lot of stuff. I should say we as viewers don't notice things a lot because it zooms right by, so you could spend forever on a 5-second clip, but what would be the point of that? So with this new branding, I sort of have the angle that I wanted to reuse a lot of the backgrounds and assets, so it would save me time, but videos would still look pretty original and different. Ultimately, it's practice. A lot of the motion graphics are figuring out how keyframing works. I haven't mentioned it, I haven't even uttered the utter word of keyframe. The keyframing is super huge in all Adobe products as well as any sort of animation. You learn your keyframing, you learn how objects move, that is going to be a big benefit to you. So here we got this. Very pretty. So every video I do use the linked composition. As I've shown in the past, the linked comps are the entirety of the After Effects project you're working in, just turned into a little block, and you can put it as a layer in Premiere, and you can add effects to that. It's Inception. It's very cool, but this is what we're going to be working with, and it's what I use for backgrounds for most of my videos. You've noticed it, and I've like flipped it, I've recolored it. It's cool, and it can be very malleable in terms of how you can use it in projects. But what is the exact composition of this? To me, it came out beautiful. But there's actually not a lot that went into it. It was super easy once I figured out what I wanted the look to be to actually make it happen. Which is why I wanted to show you, because again, as I said in other videos, you can basically copy everything here. I don't own any of this, and you can change up 1 or 2 parts, like step 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5, and you will have your own asset. It's very cool for that. So let's just break down here what we've got. This and this, and then the background. So essentially, these two things right here, it's actually an illusion. Because it's smaller, I resized this. Like, I will change this. It is that size, but I wanted it to be a small inner layer, so I did that. But what goes into actually making that possible? All this is, once we go into the pre-comp, is, wow, there are so many sub-comps of this. It's such an inception. So I think this is top and bottom. Oh yeah, so this is the makeup for the whole project, essentially. The top and bottom, but we only really need one of them. And then when we go in, we realize, actually there's one more effect here. and all it is this amazing thing. If you've seen some of my videos, I've actually repeated the Sonic CD. The Sonic Curse video, where all of those Sonic CD Sonics were like as far as the eye could see. That was a 3D composition, but to make a 3D just one layer that spans that infinitely, you utilize CC Repeatile. I think that's how you say it. Reptile. Essentially, all this does, ready? Boom. So this layer, when we really break it down, is a mask. If you are somewhat intermediate with editing, you should know what a mask is. A mask is... We got our red here. Holy crapola. And then you can do this very simply. You just go like that. That's a mask. What we have is we had the essential layer, and then we made a cut out of that layer around it to show only one part. So that's all this guy is over here. It's just a mask of what essentially was just a colored background. So what I did, more or less, was, we'll just duplicate it so I can show you. What it started off as, with no masks, is this. It's just a moving, single, tiered background. It even is like being a little stinky. That's just a matte. That's it. All of the illusion's broken. Everything's a rectangle when you really think about it. Everything, as far as the eye can see, is made up of rectangles. Once we've had that, I made a mask of this shape. We then, as you remember, did the CC repeat tile. I've only extended it to go right. We could have done vertical, left, right, down. That's how you can do sort of patterns if you have a sort of, image or a background that you want to repeat. Like perhaps that star background you've seen me use in videos. That's been repeated several times so it can look like a starry night sky when really it's only one 1920 by 1080, wow. Whew, I am chugging, my RAM is not doing so good. So in this example, it repeats that background. And then everything makes sense. So I don't even know where we were. Where the hell is it? So this is where we are. Let's go inside. Let's go even further. Let's double up. I just repeated that and flipped it. Then we have the inner purple. And there you go. That's it moving. And then when we really want to get schnasty, I don't know why the noise is this far. The noise comes in and makes some noise. We've talked about displacement maps and fractal noise. Fractal noise, a very easy effect to the common man. You start off putting down, we're just gonna do it here because it's basically second nature to me. I could like scratch my head, I wake up, sleep, my circadian rhythm, drinking water, making displacement maps using fractal noise. It's second nature to me. So we start off with a solid. Make it a solid color. If it's black or white, it's gonna fall into weird territory. You don't wanna mess with that just because it's black or white and you won't be able to see some of the effects. You'll see why. You throw on a fractal noise, which is from our effects and presets. As I do, we set a random seed of time to 3 so that this moves. And that's essentially what we have here. It's just, you can mess with a lot of the settings in your noise, so you can make it your own. You could make it more dramatic by having a harsher contrast between colors, or you could have it be simpler and less noticeable, which is a much more powerful effect when you think about it in terms of backgrounds. And we'll see when we go onward that's exactly what happened here. We have this little hunky-dory guy. I shrunk him, as I told you, just because I wanted this to be here. And then I added these two on the outside, just because I wanted it to look like a laser beam, which, that's what you could use it for. If you sped it up, you made it more harsh in terms of the mask, that's what you would get. So then all we had to add was a displacement map, which you grab from your effects. Make sure the linked layer is your noise. So you select that, bada bing, bada boom, we get the crazy movement. Along without any of that, it's just the moving mask, and it looks just embarrassing. But the addition of this changes it to be something completely different. So this is what we have all together. After the noise, it moves, it's pretty. That would be enough, honestly. But then we added a background to give it that sort of depth. If you've seen At the top of my thumbnails, there's actually some mysterious coloring. What is that? Who threw that there? Are we getting sued? No. What that is actually my palette. I just designated a palette. I don't think it's... Oh, well, that's awkward. Essentially, I wanted to establish a palette, and it was very simple. I made sure that it was sort of around the angle. I wanted it to be only 4 colors. Purple as the main centralized color, with red and yellow being the 2 supporting colors. Green, I mean, I can use green sometimes it's not beneficial. I only like to work with 3, and then the hues within them. Making this little image, the palette at the top corner there, that makes it so I can always eyedrop tool everything for my projects, and so I don't ever have to like, oh, what color am I going to use? It's always set within the palette. And that's what I did for these purple waves. I set the background, I set this one, and then we have this one, and then this one. The additional layers on top of this, I did the exact same thing we did for the first wave, and then I just changed up the masks. So going inside of the other distortion, again, it's just duplicated. We go inside once more. It is, I don't even think it's the same one. I don't think it is. I think I made 2 separate ones because they're different colors. Yeah, they look kind of similar if I'm being honest. I don't remember. It's not like I memorize every mask I make, but overall, that's how this came to be. This one, sorry, I didn't really mention. This one is very hard to notice, but it really adds to that like wave sort of distorted plasma look when you have it as a pin light. So this is again another indispensable tool, and you can see I did some neck shit where I like stretched it so it looks really wonky, but these overlays are so good. They are so good for setting different feels for a video. You can change a single edit with just an overlay, and I love doing it. I love experimenting and learning about it even more. What was it? It was pin light, right? Here. And overall, it gives it this sort of like cool, sort of different look. And that was sort of it. I think I could even do a little bit more to it, but because this is a background thing when I have images, I think it's enough there where not enough is happening, but enough to really sell the transient feel that I like to have for my channel. I don't know if it's transient, but it's definitely like trippy, retro, and I think it achieves what I was going for. So that took a while. But it just goes to show you that, you know, making a single sort of centralized asset can be something you use for every video. And the thing is, even if you are just putting gameplay footage or images over top of that, it's a lot more than a stark image background. It really sets you apart, and it's something you made. And even if, you know, you end up not liking it by the end, or it's something you change, it's still something you learned. And you can take whatever you learned that took however long doing this to do something else. That won't take as long because you know all of the tools you used. So that's sort of what I hope you get from it. Next time we can talk about some other effects you guys are interested in, but I think this is sort of a good place for me to stop. If you want to hear more about from that video game music video, or if my newer stuff is something up your alley, please let me know. I'm here, I'm listening, I'm watching, and I just, you know, I enjoy doing this. I feel like it lets me speak to you guys honestly as a creator and as an artist, as to what actually goes into making videos, for those that care and those that want to really take this sort of thing seriously. So that's it for me. Take it easy, everyone, and I'll see you on the flip side.